first thing I want to talk about is that opening scene, because with a movie like this and the whole cinematic universe has been building to this moment. So it's really important that you introduce Thanos as this threatening and scary villain. If he doesn't work, the movie does not work. And I can happily say that I think he gets you in the mood of like, oh my gosh, he is a scary, imposing threat that can do damage. Like it was almost unsettling how dark the beginning was. Like he starts out by like gouging the Power Stone into Thor's face. And just like that, the imagery of that was just brutal, and how he was like leaving these like burns on Thor's face and just trying to get Loki to reveal where the Tesseract was. And I'm totally overlooking the fact that he kills like half the Asgardians. I actually read somewhere that that's not.
It's only half.
It's only half. So.
It's only half dead.
Only half dead. So I heard that Korg and Valkyrie from Ragnarok, they escaped before Thanos could kill their half of the ship. So half of Asgard is still alive. But just the fact that he does that, and the Black Order, specifically Ebony Maw, creating this very creepy villainy presence that they have in the movie. It's just a great opener. I want to open up to you guys. Like, what did you think of that opening, or what sticks out to you the most about the opening of Avengers: Infinity War?
I'll go ahead and go first. I want to talk about overall first, and then get into the scene. So, Infinity War made me gain a lot of respect for Marvel because I finally realized what they were doing. In the fact that I've been looking at each film as like an individual film. And being like, well, they can't stand without each other, therefore it's not a good film on its own. But in building up to Infinity War, it's like you didn't need to do any character development besides for Thanos, because you'd already done it in other movies, and you just were able to just have a blast in it. And I was like, oh wow, it just kind of opened my mind about what Marvel was doing. That being said, like looking at the entire MCU as like a build up to Infinity War, I never really felt like Thanos was a threat. Like, it was more like the movies were telling you, this guy's a threat. He's a threat, like throughout all the stuff, and I'm like,
sneaking
okay,
around in the shadows.
Is he? Because if he's like this grand puppeteer, like when are we gonna see it? So going to that first scene in Infinity War, I really like what they did with Thanos, but they had a lot of catching up to do to actually prove that he was a worthwhile villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important. That's a good point to bring up, because he appears at the post-credits scene of Avengers, played by a different actor. We should point out, and not really. We like, okay, this guy's the real deal, but is he going to be a threat? And we all thinking, oh, Avengers 2, that's where he's going to show up. But then we do Age of Ultron, and it's like, oh, no, he's the end game. The Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, that's the end game. That's not going to be, Avengers 2. That's like the end of the trilogy or something. And then, of course, he appears in probably the best form we had seen at that point, played by Josh Brolin.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah. We first see him in Guardians of the Galaxy in that brief scene. Then we see him again at the end of Age of Ultron to set up the building up to Infinity War. And, we get a taste of what he could be like. Josh Brolin is one of my all-time favorite actors. This movie proved that to me. So many great actors out there, but this movie really showed me how versatile he can, how serious he takes his craft, even with something as silly as a comic book movie. The fact that he could make me fear this villain that we've only seen 3 times, with like not even 5 minutes worth of screen time, and make me care about his goal was really it just goes. It's an credit to his talent as an actor and his ability to really dig into the character, no matter what role, what type of film it is. It's just his dedication to the movie, and I just love that about him.
Yeah.
Sorry, JJ, go ahead.
Good. kind of jumping off of both of those points, yeah, like I agree with Gabe. It kind of the way that they've structured the universe has really allowed them in this to really expand upon just focusing on this film, not having to worry about necessarily all the characters and having to make sure they all have these arcs. They really the movie is really about Thanos and like getting to know who he is, and that kind of just gives some freedom to play with a lot of different things you really haven't seen before, or very much of. And I liked how the movie was just pretty much a movie just about Thanos, and they really made you fear him and be and hate him at the same time. You really feel empathetic towards him. So he was a really well-rounded villain from a writing standpoint all the way through to like a performance standpoint. Mm-hmm. And then I especially love kind of going back to the first scene, how the first thing they decided to show was that the Hulk couldn't beat him, to kind of like set up of like, oh, okay, this guy's kind of a big deal. You know, if the Incredible Hulk can't do anything, then what are we going to do? So I loved how they kind of made that whole scene, orchestrated that whole scene, and really set up a lot of characters and a lot of like the stakes right in that first moment, just through kind of very little dialogue and just kind of showing a lot. So overall, kind of speaking to the film, I thought it was a brilliant, as good as I could have ever expected that Avengers movie to come out to be, and I think it's just something they should really be proud about as far as orchestrating the whole universe towards this end goal.
Yeah, that's a great point with Hulk, because that whole scene is about setting up Thanos as this threat that the Avengers are going to struggle to beat. And how do you do that? Well, one, you kick Hulk's ass and make him afraid. Like, then that sets up his arc in the entire movie, where Hulk's afraid to come out because he's never been beaten like that before. Maybe, well, I guess Thor never actually beat him in Ragnarok, but that's just a really compelling idea. It's just that Hulk is actually afraid of somebody for the first time, and he doesn't want to Hulk out. And it really, sets up a compelling arc for Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk.